So if the Irish state goes ahead with this on the 1st of January, particularly as you know, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, the majority of them will lie on elderly people to vote for them, and of course people that are new to the parish. But they rely on elderly people. That's the people that votes them in. Because let's be fair, the majority of people who vote for the mainstream parties are elderly people because they voted all their life for the same parties and they're never going to change. But yeah, if they do this, because particularly this affects elderly people, I'll explain why. Some people wouldn't understand if you're younger what these pouches are and how important too they are. But what the government wants to do, so the HSE budget, the health service in Ireland, is 6 or 7 billion, or maybe even more a year. That's the budget of the HSE, or even more than that in some cases. But long story short, the state spends about 50 million, which sounds a lot, but at the end of the day, it's like tuppence pretty much in terms of the wider budget. But yeah, for these pouches, and particularly for elderly people in their 80s, people that are old age, their memory's not that great because obviously as you get on in years, your memory starts to decay a bit. It's just a reality of life, and of course these pouches help them when they take tablets, etc. What time of the day they take it even take it at the night. What day of the week you should take it. It helps elderly people a lot. And what the state wants to do now is get rid of that, and make people pay for it. So elderly people particularly would have to fork out the money out of their pension, even though they're struggling with the cost of living, etc. But the government doesn't give a shit. But we see they probably will have to go back in it because if there's an election, or if there's a referendum, they won't have the young people to vote for the state, so the state's going to get hammered if there's another election. Because the one thing they don't do, they fuck over young people as much as they can. Don't get me wrong, this state fucks over elderly people every day of the week, but they do it in a nice way, if that makes sense. They don't outright say it. Here they're kind of outright saying fuck these elderly people. That's pretty much what they're outright saying here. Usually they're very nice and very genuine about it and stuff, but without young people in this country, like fuck them, we don't care. And that's the Irish states now it is. And you probably wonder what these pouches I'm talking about. So these are the pouches here, just to say, this is just an example of it here. So take for example, you would have your tablets in here. This is for the morning, just to tell the person. You take these tablets in the morning, you have no tablets to take mid-time, you've one to take at tea time, you've one to take at bedtime before you go to bed. In some cases, some people might have them only once a week or twice a week on a Tuesday, take for example, and you have no tablets, say on a Wednesday, for argument's sake. But it's handy for people who have Alzheimer's and who have dementia and other problems, and even elderly people that you have other things to worry about, or even take for example, even just for only people like with children, etc., young women with children, if they have tablets to take, etc. Because it's hard to kind of mind the children and to take of your tablets, etc. And it's just kind of a good reminder for people, and it's only a small pouch, and it's not, people get it for months and months on end. But they are handy for people, particularly elderly people, as I say. And it's not like the state is out a fortune. Like, we're more out a fortune on immigration, people coming into the country and getting free houses, etc. Like, it's only 50 million that we're spending. It sounds a lot, but it's not that much in the grand scheme of things compared to migration, compared to other stuff, bicycle sheds. Yeah, they could build a good lot of bicycle sheds for, but let's put it this way. It isn't much in the grand scheme of things, because the HSC's budget's massive. It's fucking huge. It's 7 billion or something. It's insane money. It could be 8 billion now. Who knows how much of this exactly? But it's not that big, and it's not right, particularly for elderly people who worked all their life, to be saying to them, we're going to take more money off you in your pension. You worked all your life for your pension, we're going to take your money. Because they already do that, as you know. The cost of living has gone up dramatically. Imagine being an elderly person now, trying to keep a cow on the road, trying to get the groceries and stuff, trying to pay for everything on, say, the state pension, which is only about 200 and something a week or something, give or take. If you have a private pension, it could be a bit more, but what I'm trying to say, roughly maybe about 300, give or take, a week. You have to try and maybe pay the rent or whatever the situation the elderly people are in. But the state doesn't give a shit, let's be fair. They pretend they care in a lot of cases, because they rely, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael rely on elderly people for their votes, because they know they're not going to get it. And when that generation goes, they're pretty much finished. They're done with Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, because nobody's going to vote for them. Like, no young person in their right mind would vote for them. And again, if you want to vote for them, that's your opinion and stuff. But the evidence showed that Fianna Fáil, and particularly with the latest housing video, it shows that they couldn't give a shit about any young person. They couldn't give a shit about elderly people. We see the abuse that's happening in care homes. Nobody's ever been brought to prison for that. Nobody's been ever sacked. Nothing's ever been done about it. What I'm trying to say. So yeah, let me know what you think. Subscribe for more, and